1. Congratulations on the Kansas City Chiefs for winning the Super Bowl. Absolutely stunned and excited for this group, Pat Mahomes and gang. They have a deep roster. They might be a good team for a very long time. On a related note, the city of Kansas City has completely run out of all fast food burgers because Andy Reid has gone out and bought every single one of them. Good afternoon and welcome to the podcast. I'm Nick Drago. I know I haven't been here the last couple weeks. I've kind of been sick and whatnot, but we're fine. We're back. It's all good. So welcome back to the show. Super excited to talk all about baseball and basketball and hockey and football today. That's right, football, because we got this new thing out there called the XFL, and I'm pretty pumped for something I'm never actually going to watch. So we're going to talk about it. Stick with us, friends, because sports starts now. And welcome to the Sports Podcast with me, your host, Nick Drago. For those of you who are new to the program, I know I say this every week, but this is our show. Welcome. We're really happy to have you here. Our goal is to talk about the previous week's news and information while giving you some insight into what's going on next week. And holy cow, there's been a crazy sports week among us between baseball just about to kick off. That's definitely not how we say that for baseball, but whatever. Spring training's right around the corner. You had basketball with its amazing trade deadline. That was exciting. And, of course, my fave, got to talk about hockey, too, and the brand new XFL. I'm not very good with letters or numbers or talking. I'm not really good at anything, really. I'm just here, and you're listening to me. So enjoy the velvety tune of my voice as I talk about stuff. I had a great weekend this weekend. Got to go back to Long Island, the place where I was born and raised, and got to hang out with my family. That was fun. Nice little surprise from my wife. So life's been pretty cool. I started at a new job. For those of you who don't know, I'm a physical therapist by day, and run a much larger PT clinic than I was before. So that was awesome. I really like it. Cool stuff all around. But now it's time to get back into some normalcy. It's back to me to talking about the sports. So let's take a look at what's been going on in basketball. You know, that game with the big orange thing, you put it in a hoop. Boo! Let's get into basketball stuff. All right, let's talk about some of the games from this weekend. So the Wizards beating the Mavericks 119-118. Game winner by Bradley Beal. He had a 29-point night. 76ers getting the best of the Grizzlies, winning 119-107. Celtics beating the Hawks 112-107. Jason Tatum looking like a stud, 32 points. Thunder beat the Pistons 108-101. Raptors, they get a win over the Pacers 115-106. By the way, the Raptors are on a 13-game winning streak. Wow. Suns beat the Rockets 127-91. James Harden, 32 points, only 2 rebounds and 5 assists, though. Kings get a win over the Heat 105-97. And the Jazz beat the Trailblazers 117-114. This was all on Friday night. Let's take a quick peek over at what's going on Saturday. So the Knicks got a win over the Pistons. Way to go, Knicks. You win some games out there. 95-92. Raptors beat the Nets 119-118. That's their 14th straight victory for the Raptors. Bucks, they get a win over the Magic 111-95. Mavericks beating the Hornets 116-100. Seth Curry playing awesome out there. 26 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. He had 10 straight shots go into the net. Pelicans beating the Pacers 124-117. Timberwolves beat the Clippers 142-115. Karl-Anthony Towns 22 points, 13 rebounds. That's a double-double, my friend. Lakers getting a win over the Warriors 125-120. Nuggets beat the Suns 117-108. And the Kings, they got a win over the Spurs 122-102. All right, and then you have some of today's games. A couple of these still going on. Knicks are currently losing to the Hawks 70-65. The Wizards are beating the Grizzlies 57-52. 76ers are barely beating the Bulls 60 Bulls just with a 3-pointer right there live on the show. Oh my gosh. Bulls winning 61-60. Jazz are behind the Rockets 25-18. Celtics beat the Thunder this afternoon 112-111. And a couple games later tonight, the Clippers and the Cavaliers and the Heat playing the Trail Blazers. Current standings look like this in the East. Basically, everyone sucks except for the Bucks. I'm just kidding. Bucks are ahead with 45 wins, 7 losses. Toronto Raptors with 39 victories. Celtics with 37. Heat with 34. 76ers with 32. Pacers with 31. And the Brooklyn Nets with 23. And the Magic with 22. So 2 teams with losing records are in there. But you have a couple of really good teams towards the top. The Bucks, the Raptors, the Celtics. Heat and Sixers looking okay right now. I should mention, by the way, the Celtics are on a 7-game winning streak themselves. As you go further down the list, of course, you have teams like the Wizards, Bulls, Pistons, Knicks, Hornets, Hawks, and Cavaliers. Way to go, Knicks, not being in last place. There's a chance that the Knicks could make the playoffs this year. Probably not going to happen. But there is a chance. And yes, there was Knicks news this week, and you know we got to talk about it. We'll get there. Let's talk about the West first, and then we'll look at next week's schedule. Clippers, of course, on top, 39 victories. The Nuggets are just past them at 37. You got the Clippers at 36, Jazz at 33, Rockets at 33, Thunder at 32, Mavericks at 32, and the Grizzlies at 26. Portland Trailblazers only 2.5 games back behind the Grizzlies. There's still time for them. Spurs aren't far back. Pelicans aren't too far back. You got the Kings in the mix, the Suns, and then all the way towards the bottom, you got the Timberwolves and the Golden State Warriors. Most of these teams have been somewhat hot or cold. Lakers are 6-4 in their last 10. Really, the only team that's had a really good streak in the West has been this Thunder, who are 8-2 in their last 10 games. So a couple important matchups to watch for Monday. Actually, nothing really all that great. Toronto, Minnesota, maybe? I don't know. Utah, Dallas. You got some playoff teams in there. Not too exciting, really. So let's just move on to Tuesday. Clippers and 76ers. Now that's the type of matchup I would want to see. You got Oklahoma City playing the Spurs. You got the Rockets playing the Celtics. Yeah. I'm going to want to tune in for that one. So Rockets-Celtics, that game is Tuesday night at 9:30. Wednesday, sorry, my wire here is driving me nuts today. All right, let's just do that. Wednesday, a couple matchups to look out for. I would tune into the Bucks and Pacers at 7:30. You got the Nets playing the Raptors. Definitely want to see that one. Jazz and Heat. And then you got the Nuggets playing LA, 2 really good teams in the West, the Nuggets and the Clippers, Nuggets and the Lakers playing each other on Wednesday night. That's at 10 p.m. So if you're an East Coastie like me, you're going to be staying up pretty late to enjoy that one. And then later in the week, you have Oklahoma City versus New Orleans, and you have LA facing the Boston Celtics. So crazy week for the Celtics this week. Clippers will be taking them on Thursday at 8 p.m. And before we move on, I got 2 big things to talk about. Yes, I know. We'll get to the Knicks. We will get there, I promise. However, let's talk about the trade deadline. It finally happened this week. I personally thought it wasn't all that exciting. I'm used to, there were some big trades the last couple of years, but there were certainly some teams that improved. So, and a lot of crazy trades, really. So the Heat, Grizzlies, and Timberwolves, they teamed up for a 3-team swap. The Heat ended up with Andre Iguodala, Solomon Hill, and Jay Crowder. Really good pick up there for the Miami Heat. I got to be real. That was awesome. The Grizzlies, meanwhile, received Justice Winslow, Dion Waiters, and they got, Gordy Dang. That was big for the Grizzlies, too, because Andre Iguodala didn't play for the Grizzlies all that much. So they ended up getting Justice Winslow. Not bad. And then the Thunder, they'll get James Johnson out of this. So I personally think that was a really good deal all around. I think the Heat obviously made out with the best package of the other few teams. But, yeah, absolutely. And I think the Heat, they're going to look a little bit better now. Maybe push the Celtics or the Raptors a little bit. I don't think they're better than the Bucks at this point, but you never know. The Timberwolves got their man. D'Angelo is on his way to team up with Karl Anthony Towns. These two have wanted to play together for a very long time. I think they could have some really great chemistry. And really all that they had to give up was Andrew Wiggins and a projected first-round pick and second-round pick. Warriors are stacking up right now on draft picks because, well, they want to keep this dynasty rolling for a couple more years, and this is a great way to do it. I'm pretty sure that pick may end up being in the lottery, which would absolutely be helpful for the Warriors, who are trying to keep themselves relevant. They're going to have a lottery pick this year as well. So I think that is a great move for both sides as well. Moving further down here, the Clippers getting Marcus Morris from the Knicks. This was another 3-team trade in which the Clippers received Morris and Isaiah Thomas. He's going to he'll be waived anyway. There were actually some talks about Thomas going to the to the Lakers? No, to the Rockets. The Rockets, I'm sorry. There were some rumors that Isaiah Thomas may end up on the Rockets. The Knicks, meanwhile, they'll receive Harkless and then a 2020 first-round pick, which they desperately need to stock up on a lot of those. We'll get to the Knicks, okay? I know. We'll get there. The Wizards, they end up with Jerome Robinson, which is a good pickup for them as well. Some other deals were the trade. The Rockets received Bruno Caboclo and a second-round pick for Jordan Bell and a second-round pick. The Hawks added Skal Labissiere and Derek Walton Jr. Wizards and Nuggets, they traded. So the Wizards got Shabazz Napier and Jordan McRae is on his way to the Nuggets. So yeah, a lot of really good trades from this weekend. Of course, the big one is that Clint Capella has been traded to the Atlanta Hawks, and I think that was. I'd love to see him and Trae Young together on the court. Atlanta's setting themselves up for a huge future. They're bound to get another lottery pick this year. They already have 2 stars in Capella and Young and some really good backup players behind them. I think the Atlanta Hawks are going to be big. They're on their way. I don't know. All right. Let's talk about it. Here we go. The Knicks fired president of basketball operations Steve Mills. All the rumors right now are that player agent Leon Rose will be the next president of the New York Knicks. If you're unfamiliar with the Knicks situation, first off, just skip this. It's insane. Okay, James Dolan's on the team for many years, like over 20 years, about 20 years at this point. The last time, just before he bought the team, the Knicks were a contender. They were in the championship round, and they lost. And then from there, it's just been this non-stop drop of terribleness. I can't even keep track of how many times this team has changed hands. So what is the difference now? The difference is you're bringing in Leon Rose, right? He's an agent. He's not a yes man. He's not... he's not some behind-the-scenes guy who has done this before. He's an agent. But his rapport with players is huge. He's represented Devin Booker, Karl Anthony Towns, Joel Embiid. He at one point was LeBron James' agent years ago. It's expected that William Wesley, also known as Worldwide Wes, could become a consultant. He has a lot of ties. He's a consultant right now for a lot of elite NBA players. And so the reason the Knicks are doing this is these are the types of players who can mend the broken fences that the Knicks have created. It's bad. Free agents don't want to go there. Players don't want to get traded there to the Knicks because it's just terrible. So why go with these two non-experienced agents? Well, it's worked out so far for two teams, right? The Golden State Warriors, Bob Myers, and Rob Pelinka for the Lakers, right? The Warriors have turned themselves from garbage team to dynasty, and the Lakers are on their way to possibly being a dynasty themselves. I personally think that this might be the right move for the Knicks, but I'm also really skeptical. They need to show me. They need to prove that they can win, that they want to win. Because, listen, it doesn't matter if the Knicks win or lose. They sell out every game. They're the They're the highest priced team in basketball just because of where they play. They have some history, yeah, absolutely. But it's been a very long time. It's not only since the Knicks were contenders, it's been a long time since they've actually won anything. I'm skeptical. As a Knicks fan, absolutely skeptical. We'll see what happens. There is a lot of fixing to do. It's going to take more than just 2 years, 3 years to fix this team, and I really hope that they give Leon Rose more than 2 years to fix this dumpster fire of a team. But we'll see. We'll see. I think they should just keep trusting the process and hopefully build up some good players. It might take a while, but that's where I'm at on that. Let's get into hockey, because I need to talk about hockey now. I'm too depressed. Hockey will lift my spirits. All right, NHL games from this weekend. Ducks losing to the Maple Leafs in overtime. The Leafs were crushing them, but 3 late goals for the Ducks pushed them into the OT. Leafs got the better of them. Sabres got a win over the Rangers 3-2. Red Wings losing to the Blue Jackets 2-0. The Wild, they got a win over the Stars 3-2. Moving into Saturday's games now. It's really slow on my end. Senators, they get a win over the Jets 5-2. Bruins beat the Coyotes 4-2. Canadians, they got a win in overtime over the Maple Leafs. Those are always fun. Canadians and Maple Leafs. I apologize for the hiccups right now. Lightning beating the Islanders. Isles have been on a downward spiral recently. Penguins, they got a win over the Panthers 3-2. That's a game they definitely needed to win, and they did. And the Kings, they lost to the Devils 3-0. Flyers smoking the Capitals 7-2. Avalanche beat the Blue Jackets 2-1. Oilers got a win over the Predators 3-2. And the Stars, they got a win over the Blues 3-2. Flames killing the Canucks 6-2. And then the Hurricanes, they beat the Golden Knights. That was in a shootout, by the way. They won 6-5. A lot of games going on there. For today's games, the Sunday matchups, I'm sorry. This is being very, very slow on my end. So I have to apologize for that. Here we go. So a couple games still going on right now. Rangers and the Kings. Rangers are winning 1-0 in the second period. Blackhawks, or it's the end of the second. Blackhawks are beating the Jets 2-0 at the end of the first. And if my machine wants to scroll here for me, Avalanche and Wild, they're just kicking off right now. Red Wings, they got a win over the Bruins 3-2. And the Ducks beat the Sabres Ducks beat the Sabres 3-2. Red Wings beat the Bruins 3-1. All right, let's get away from this because I don't know why it's so slow right now. Looking at the standings right now. The Bruins still on top of the East, but you know what? My gosh, the Lightning have gotten close. A few weeks ago, 2 months ago, the Lightning were dead. Could not win a single game. They're in a 6-game winning streak. They're 8-1-1 in their last 10. And man, they are only 5 points now behind the Bruins, who were running away with this thing. Absolutely running away with it. So Bruins with 80, Lightning at 75. The Maple Leafs are at 66. The Panthers are at 64. Yeah, the Panthers are in there as well right now. Canadiens with 61. Sabres with 56. The Sabres they were in first place at one point. They've totally fallen apart. Senators at 47 and the Red Wings at 32. Going into the Metro, the Capitals still remain on top here with 77. Pittsburgh Penguins at 73. They are very close and just got a win over them in the past week, so that's going to help. Blue Jackets with 69 points. Islanders at 68. Yeah, the Islanders still in it too. Hurricanes at 67. Flyers at 67. Rangers at 56. And the Devils at 50. Right now, if you were to look at the playoffs, right, you'd have the Bruins, you'd have the Lightning, and you'd have the Maple Leafs coming out of the East. For the Metro, you'd have the Capitals, Penguins, Blue Jackets. Islanders would be the first wild card they'd get to play in the Metro. And the other wild card would be the Carolina Hurricanes, who currently hold the tiebreaker over the Flyers. They would be playing in the Atlantic. While the Flyers, they're just on the outside looking in. Panthers are also a couple games back, so they could make a late push this season. Moving into the Western Conference, in the Central, the Blues are on top, 63 points, followed by the Avalanche at 68. 73 for the Blues, 68 for the Avalanche, 67 for the Stars, 61 for the Jets, Predators at 59, Wild at 58, Blackhawks also at 58. In the Pacific, and this is where things get a little nuttier, 65 for the Canucks, Oilers at 64, Vegas Golden Knights at 64, Calgary Flames at 62, and the Arizona Coyotes are at 61. Ducks at 53, Sharks at 52, and the Kings are at 43. That is just so close. There's 4 points right now between the Coyotes in 5th place and possibly out of the playoffs versus the Canucks, who are in 1st place and have home advantage throughout their division. So the Pacific is really tied up at the moment. I will say the Canucks have lost their last 4 games. That has not helped them at all. But the rest of these teams don't really look much better. The Oilers are 6-3-1 in their last 10. Vegas Golden Knights are 4-4-2. The Flames are 4-5-1. The Coyotes are 2-5-3. So really, they're all just kind of lucking out from how bad each other is at the moment. And we're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we return, we got to talk about the Mookie Betts trade that almost didn't happen, but it is happening now, and we're going to talk about the XFL. Stick with us, friends, because sports will be right back. Hello friends, I'm Nick Drago. Yes, you know me from Sports with Nick Drago, but did you know I had another podcast? It's true, I do. It's called Big Spoon, Little Spoon. Myself and my good buddy Jamie Grum like to discuss, well, everything. Random topics from the future to the Wild West to what the heck are lanternflies. We talk about it all. So if you're interested in some fun and entertaining entertainment, join us on Big Spoon, Little Spoon. We pick a random topic out of a hat. We talk about it, knowing no knowledge of what it's going to be before we pick that topic out of the hat, and then we do a little bit of research, come back and see what we learned. So if you're interested, check us out. Again, it's called Big Spoon, Little Spoon. You can find us on all your favorite podcasting apps. You can find us on YouTube, on the Facebook. You can also email us with ideas that you want us to talk about on the show. Email us at wehateforks@gmail.com. Again, wehateforks@gmail.com. Plus, we got Volume 2 coming out in the new year. So check back at the end of January. At the end of January, we're going to have some new episodes for you. But you can check out Volume 1 in the meantime right here. Well, not right here, but right now at this moment. Just not after you finish this podcast, then go listen to that one. All right, thanks, friends. Hope you enjoy the rest of this show, but there's another good one out there, too. All right, I'm done now.
The Astros are world champions for the first time in franchise history.
And welcome back to the show. Oh, I really don't like talking about the Boston Red Sox on this thing, but I do when they trade away some of their star players. David Price and Mookie Betts are on their way to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Yes, the deal is happening. Initially agreed upon about a week ago, a trade that involved a couple players along with the Minnesota Twins. I think the Red Sox would end up getting Verdugo. The Twins would give the Red Sox Brustar Gatterall, I don't know. And Kenta Maeda would also be headed towards the Twins. Now, the Red Sox were a little bit spooked about Gatterall's medical issues. He did have Tommy John surgery about a year ago, and doesn't apparently look like he's quite up to snuff just yet. And so instead, they had to come up with a totally different trade. So this time around, the Red Sox are going to get Verdugo, Jeter Downs, and Connor Wong. Wong and Downs, two young prospects with a lot of talent. Verdugo, who's been playing for the Dodgers last season, he had 377 plate appearances, and I think he had a 297 average. So either way, this is a big salary dump move for Boston, right? They're trying to get under the luxury cap. They're trying to compete with the Yankees. Realistically, their team didn't make the playoffs with Mookie Betts on their roster. Probably has less of a chance to make the playoffs without Mookie Betts on their roster. Right now, they're trying to build and grow something for the future. Does that mean the Red Sox are in rebuild mode? Probably not. The last time they did something like this, they ended up winning the World Series. So don't expect them to be a bad team next year. Just don't expect them to be a much better team this coming season. So, who knows? All right, let's talk about the XFL. So, what is the XFL? I know you've been hearing me mention it the whole show. So, new spring football league that's popped up. 20 years ago, Vince McMahon put this show on the face of the earth with some hard hits, some crazy player names, and it was basically like wrestling-themed football. As cool as it was, it didn't last very long. So the XFL is back. This time around, though, they're a little bit more serious. The logo may be the same, but it's a much different product, and it actually looked pretty good from the highlights and whatnot that I was watching. So we'll talk about the scores and whatnot of the game, but what is the big difference? Well, one, the players don't make as much. Most of these guys are getting about $55,000. Some of the star players might get closer to $500,000, like your quarterbacks and whatnot. A couple of notable tweaks, though. The play clock's been shortened to 25 seconds. They got rid of the extra point. So instead of an extra point after touchdowns, teams get the chance to make a 1-point play, a 2-point play, or 3-point play by either running or passing from the 2-yard line, the 5-yard line, or the 10-yard line, respectively. So that's kind of cool. You get a 3-point play. And then the other rule change is that overtimes are now treated more as like a shootout, where every team's going to get 5 chances to score, much like you do in the NHL. And I would assume it's whoever scores the most off those 5 chances is going to end up winning. So that to me sounds really cool, because I personally hate how overtime works right now for the NFL, and the fact that there are ties in football. It's fine. It's fine. The XFL is fixing it. Coaches challenges have also been eliminated, so any questionable calls are basically going to go right to instant replay, which is also probably how it should be. So let's see if we can get a hammer down on some of these scores this weekend. So there's 8 teams, right? New York, Seattle, you have DC, you have Tampa Bay. Oh my goodness, where are these scores? Let's see if we can find these here. Here we go. So DC Defenders and the Seattle Dragons, right? DC won 31-19. The Houston Roughnecks beat the LA Wildcats 37-17. And then today, the New York Guardians beat the Tampa Bay Vipers. By the way, Vipers is an awesome name. They have some pretty cool uniforms too. They lost though 23-3. And then the Battlehawks, St. Louis Battlehawks, because just a regular hawk is boring. Sorry, Atlanta, but the Battlehawks beating the Dallas Renegades 15-9. So pretty fun opening weekend, in my opinion. This 10-week season is going to be very telling. Hopefully it's better than the AAFL or whatever it was that we had to deal with last year that was trying to be spring football that just totally fell apart. I think this is going to go a little bit better. Obviously, Vince McMahon has the money to pump into this thing and keep it going. But you also have the fact that it already has deals with Fox, with ESPN, so you can actually watch these games televised. And the XFL actually has a name behind it because people saw the original product all those years ago. So there's a chance that this thing could survive, especially with arena football now totally dented, gone. We need something to keep us watching football throughout the springtime. With that, we're going to end off the show today. Special thanks, as usual, to Johanna Drago. She's the logo designer, set designer, and content editor for this podcast. The song you hear is called Golden Sunrise by Josh Woodward. A link to his website can be found in the show notes. And, of course, special thanks to our social media warriors, Mary Kay Albert, Joe Calabro, Jorge Pajare. Jorge Pajare is our good friend. He's got his own podcast launching right now called Off the Bench. You're going to want to check it out. It's pretty cool. And then after that, we got a lot of other friends out there in the world who've just been listening to the show, and I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. I always appreciate it. I think that's all I have for today. Is that it? Yeah? Okay. Well, find us on your favorite podcasting apps. You can find us on YouTube, Switcher, Tube, Pop, Beep, Pop, Badoop, Badoop, Badoop. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and I always forget the last one. The YouTube. Did I say that? Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and the SoundCloud. Find us on SoundCloud as well. Just type in Sports with Nick Drago. You can email me directly, sports3xpodcast@gmail.com. I always love hearing from fans of the show, so feel free to reach out. And then if you do all those things, you can like, share, comment, Twitter at me, and you can do all the fun social media stuff that you do. Do we have TikTok? I don't think we have TikTok yet. I don't even know how that would work. Could I put a whole show on TikTok? Why is it called TikTok? You know what? We're just going to ignore TikTok right now. And I just gave them like a 30-second ad. Pay me. It's fine. Okay. With that, we're gonna stop the show. Apparently I'm just name dropping apps now because I have nothing better to say. Always a pleasure joining you guys joining me to talk sports and whatnot. We're always looking for fun guests who want to be on the show, so reach out. I'm always happy to entertain and have other people come on and entertain my fans as well. So with that, have a lovely night. I can't caw because I'm still a little bit sick, but that's okay. I'll do the caw next time around. Have a good one, friends.